Organic traffic is perfect for running experiments. Here's why. So in the last video, I went through all our most important pages that are living on brightsmadefire.com. I went in and put everything together from the page keyword to the URL to a bunch of stats here, all the way down the funnel, and also how much revenue we're making with each keyword or with each page. So wherever people land for the first time and how much money that attributes to. Some are missing, most notably the other speech generators, but I'll be adding that over time. And now I can use this to figure out where things are lacking. So we can see here in red, obviously color scheme helps, where we have the biggest opportunities in terms of raising something. So for example, here the position for best man speech for best man speech guide is 82 on average in the last 28 days. That data is pulled from Search Console. Other data is pulled from on page, for example, from Google Analytics. What I meant in the beginning with SEO or organic traffic being perfect for experiments and testing is basically that I can come up with an experiment, but I can run multiple experiments at the same time, right? So now I can go in and I can say, hey, this page, let's add a video, because what we want to do right now, we're at 41 seconds time on page. That is on the low end, right? We want to see something like this, two to 3 minutes, especially because it's a guide on how to do something. So people, if the content is interesting and works well, should be on the page much longer than, what was it here, 41 seconds. And so now we're going to run an experiment. We're going to add a video to the page at the top that is basically the same thing in video form. And that gives us two things. That lets us put something on YouTube as a guide. That is another source of traffic. And we can see if that helps to increase the time that users spend on the page. If they watch the video, that obviously means they will be staying on the video, on the page. And that increases the time on the page, which in turn should help increase the time. And that should also increase the ranking, because here we're not in the top 10 yet, which means there is rooms to grow here for us. And this is 16 pages. Some of them are applying to all of them. And I can run a different experiment for each of these, right? So here, the goal will be to raise the percentage of people that leave their email address. And for that, we implement a speech offer. So this is if you write the maid of honor speech for your sister, that it's more likely versus, let's say, maid of honor speech funny. So people trying to write a funny speech, it's more likely that you might be willing to spend a bit more extra money in order to get a more custom speech instead of using an AI generator. And what we want to raise here is the percentage that people leave their email with, which for this one is only 39% compared to, let's say, 47, 54 here as the baselines, right? So we should be targeting either of these, which then will return more money, and everything else steady, right? And you can see that reflected here. If we were to lift the conversion for the email from 0.4, so that's 40% to 54%, we would be looking at $360 more per month, which is significant. And I've used this revenue gain here at the end to prioritize the experiments, right? So anything that gives us the most money, that should be number one, and then followed by anything that is underneath. Obviously, these are all assumptions and none of this is guaranteed to pan out, but we have to start somewhere. And as I said, this lets us run 10, 15 experiments at the same time, and then obviously roll out the winner across the board, assuming that they are somewhat similar, which all of these are, right? So the tool pages are similar, and then those are just guides, which are, you can see a lot of times the same. So speech, sister, funny examples, speech, funny, brother examples, quotes. So this is all more or less the same, and we'll be able to implement and use compound effects. And this is a great way, because if you have an app, maybe you have enough traffic to split test, but otherwise it's somewhat complicated to run multiple experiments at the same time. And as long as these are not on the app level, there are some experiments that are applying to the app level as well. We will be looking at a bunch of tests running at the same time. If any of that stuff sounds interesting to you, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next video.